some of you, I hope no one is freaked out or offended by this, but I've for years I've sketched strange and anthropomorphic animal drawings and whatever, just for fun. And so this was one that I just... Hi, Cheryl here, and welcome to my blog about all things art and painting. And this is my update for the Milan Art Institute Mastery Program. I just started section 2, and I think in the last video I talked about our assignment was inks and introduction to mixed media, inks and acrylics. And so then we went into spray paint. And I think I talked a little bit about the kind of spray paint I used and so on. But I don't remember if I showed the artwork. Anyway, I'll show it to you again. But so we went into spray paint. In between all of that, we also were kind of exploring our archetypes, exploring different things about ourselves, so that we could understand our voice. And I think I'm probably repeating a lot of what I said last time. I've lost track of the weeks, so I can't say that, gee, we're in week such and such. I could go back and count them, but I've kind of lost track. So just know that I'm in part 2. And so we did spray paints. This is what I did. We were supposed to just spray paint, do some mark making, and then once we did that, we were supposed to try to see if there was anything recognizable as a subject. Well, I don't have I might pop up the before picture of this. The before picture was just something that was kind of swirly in the center here that to me looked like fins. So as I started to kind of work through what I wanted to do with it, I just thought about dolphins. So I made it a dolphin, kind of a dolphin expressive. I wouldn't say it's abstract. The background certainly is. But anyway, so that was my introduction to spray paints and actually abstract. I've tried some geometrical types of abstract in the past, which I really enjoy. Lines and shapes and so on, but I've never tried just, kind of free expression abstract, which is sort of what this is like to me. Okay, so then we took that, all of the things that we had learned up to this point, whether it's oils, inks, acrylics, spray paint, mark making, and we were to do an abstract, to do a collage. So then we started to learn collage. So with the collage, we were to create an abstract background and then go ahead and put whatever subject matter we wanted in there and finish it with oils. So that was this one. And this is actually my husband playing drums. And there's sheet music there, and let's see if I can get a close-up for you there. There's sheet music there, and the thing is, it's a rock song that most everyone would recognize. And though my husband's musical, he likes the band that is in this music. It's not one that he really follows. He more Pink Floyd kind of guy. But the lyrics in this particular song, there are some lyrics that are just such a kind of a, it could be the theme music for his life, really. And it's Queen, We Are the Champions. So these are the drum sheets for We Are the Champions. So I threw that in there as part of the collage. And then there's, of course, drums and cymbals and just different things out of some music magazines. And then lights and other different, just geometric shapes, just things that I could find that would throw. And also a lot of tissue paper. I use a lot of red and green and yellow tissue paper. Then I went back in and I did a little bit of mark making and then started just painting with acrylics. Got a basic, his basic likeness and his drums, and then went in with oil to touch everything up. So that was this one. I really like this, actually. I really like how this turned out. It looks a lot like him, so I feel like I captured his likeness really well. And the hands, I'm not great at hands, but these turned out okay. So I really like this. That probably is going to go up somewhere in our house, just because it honors his drumming, and so I think it's special. So the second one, we were supposed to do two, is this ugly guy. I really, really wanted to do a something with a dragon for the Year of the Dragon and with a praying mantis because of this what they symbolize. And so when I started doing the collage, I knew it was going to be dark colors. I wanted fireworks in the background representing the new year and celebration. But once I got to the acrylic stage with this, I ended up covering up almost all of the collage. There's tissue paper. You wouldn't be able to recognize it in there, but the only thing that really stood out was the word now, which is kind of cool. I kind of wanted it to be, hey, you're the dragon. Let's do it. Let's not wait anymore. This is our year for whatever. Do it now. So that's what this was supposed to be. And it's okay, but I really overdid it with the fireworks. So, and then the background doesn't look like, I guess once I put the oils on, it kind of pushed it to the back a little bit, but I feel like it's just kind of busy. So yeah, that one is not as much of a success, but my husband loves dragons, so it's worth something, I guess. Okay, so that was the first experience in the abstract background and collage work and so on. And then we were to do just a straight abstract. And we could use any of the medium that we've learned and just be creative. And we learned a lot about composition, especially when it comes to abstract. We talked about how to critique paintings. That was very helpful, actually, because going forward now, when I create something, I have a little bit better idea of what is appropriate for composition, whether you're doing an abstract or anything. And I was really happy with that because it even though I'd learned that before at some point, somehow the way Ellie explained it really gelled it for me in my brain. So I get it. So now I just have to practice that, and I have to try to really focus on my source and really make sure whatever source I put together that I'm paying close attention to those rules of composition. That way, once I put it on the canvas, it's going to already be set. So working on that. Anyway, my first abstract. This guy. It's still a little bit wet, so All right, so this is my first abstract. And I really enjoyed it, actually. But as I said, it's a challenge because I so wanted to turn things into subjects. But I did do collage. You can see a little bit of collage. I did a lot of mark making. I don't think I used any spray paint on this, though. Did I? Yes, actually I did. I started with a couple of spots of spray paint, but then I didn't really want to do any more. So anyway, but this was a good experience for me. And actually I entered that one into the March contest for part 2. So you can see it there if you want to go check it out. It's already been submitted in the March contest for part 2. That is about it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm working on the next phase that the next section was still working with abstract backgrounds, but then again putting in whatever subject you want on top. So I'm working on one that I'm pretty happy with so far, and I'll be sharing that in the next video. So we're kind of starting to talk a little bit about voice, a little bit about style, a little bit about portfolio. So it's starting to get exciting. I feel like I have a good base as far as knowing what to do, what materials I want to use. I have a pretty good idea of what my process will be. And that's what the whole purpose of this first few lessons in part 2 were about, is helping us decide what our process is. So I have a pretty good idea of what my process will be. Probably not real gonna do the collage thing. Part of that is just I don't really have it's too challenging. For one thing, there's bubbles in the collage. Where's the one? Yeah. Well, the one I just showed you, there's bubbles in parts of it. I don't know if you could see it. You can't really see it unless the light hits it a certain way, but I wasn't happy with that. And part of that is the surface I use. The table that I have has got kind of a squishy surface, which is just really stupid to even try to do anything on that table. I really need to get a different table. But it's just, it's not my thing. If I'm going to get messy, I would much rather get messy with charcoal or dripping acrylics, or, dropping inks in acrylics and creating patterns, or squirting with water or alcohol. I much prefer that over spray paint or collage. And the spray paint, I think part of it is I don't have an assortment of tips that can spray a certain way. It's all the same. And the kind of spray paint I got, as I talked about in a previous video, it's just overwhelming. The fumes are overwhelming, and I have to open up all the windows to use it, and which is fine, but I have to put a fan in because even opening the windows doesn't really keep it out of the main part of the house. And my cat shares this room with me. My cat, Simba, he eats in here and does his other business in here. So that smell is not good for him. Anyway, so I'm not into spray paint. It was fun, and I might, down the road do something with them again. But for now, my process, I think, is going to be based on maybe inks once in a while, some mark making. I love acrylic markers for mark making. They're great. I bought some at Michael's, and I'll get them. probably can get them at any craft store, but it's just acrylic paint markers. And I love them. I bought a big assortment. I like that it has a metallic silver and a metallic gold, and I use those a lot because, I don't know, I just think they look cool. So this was a neat thing to find, and I really like it, so that when I do my mark making in my mixed media backgrounds in the future, I can use those. And I think that, and I'll always do oil, I'm sure. So once I'll finish everything off in oil. So that, I think I figured my process. Now, as far as my voice, as far as what is, what subject matter am I gonna paint? What message am I trying to tell? I do know that I like narrative art. I like symbolism. I like surrealism. I like magical realism. So I like realistic representations, and not hyperrealism, but realistic representations, kind of like the one of my husband. So you know what it is, and sometimes you might know who it is, but in interesting settings. So telling a story, I really like that. So I'm sure that I will be heading in a narrative direction. But then it's also, subject matter. Like I said, I love praying mantis. I love ravens. I love horses. So could go with animals, but I also really am getting, I'm not really skilled yet at human portraits, human figures. So I want to work a little more on that, because I feel that that's something I do want to do more of is humans, especially because some of the ideas I have that are human with animals or with, nature or whatever, obviously I'm going to need to brush up on my skills for figures. But that's okay. I just don't, I know that I have some weird, quirky ideas. So I just have to figure out how to fit them in to paintings that people would enjoy looking at. I don't want people to be disturbed by what they're looking at. And maybe I'll show you, let me show you a couple of my quirky acrylic paintings from a little over a year ago, before I started the mastery program. These are 2 paintings I did, because these are the kinds of things that my imagination comes up with. So hold on. Okay, so the first one I did, and some of you, I hope no one is freaked out or offended by this, but I've for years I've sketched strange and anthropomorphic animal drawings and whatever, just for fun. And so this was one that I did. It's acrylic, and yeah, so that's where my imagination goes. I did a whole series of pencil and charcoal drawings that were charcoal all over my body right now, that were switching the roles with animals and humans, and everybody, my family, loved them. So my husband said, you should start painting some of those. So that was what this was, to try and see, okay, what can I come up with? So a little disturbing, a little odd, but this tells you a lot about me. All right, the second one is this one. It's called The Hatchlings. And yeah, so that one is obviously a little bit weird, and people are like, well, what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's just to make you look twice and go, what? That's creepy. That's weird. I just want the reaction. So I like to tell a story. The story here, I don't know, it's just what if, you know? What if this is how human babies were born? What if that was how we, what if they hatched out of eggs? I don't know. So it's a story, but it's also just amusing. I like to amuse people. So anyway, now you know what my direction might be. We'll see. Well, thanks for watching, and thanks for the subscriptions. I appreciate you joining me on this journey. And I've met so many online. I've met so many of you that are also in the program, and I think it's just it's a really special thing to be able to share, watch each other's growth and share our experiences. So please comment and share your experience. And let me know what direction, if you think that's a bad direction. I mean, seriously, let me know, because I want to paint to share. I want people to want to hang up my paintings in their home or their office or wherever. So I want to make sure that even if I'm enjoying it, that it's not taking me down a road of, oh, she's just a little too weird. We don't want her stuff, So, well, we'll see. I do paint for my own pleasure most of the time. But there you go. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, let's see, I'm starting to work on a couple more abstracts, as I said. And then I'm not sure where we go from there. I know gold leaf is my next big thing. So the painting that I'm working on right now, I'm going to be putting gold leaf on it. And so I might do video of that. It probably will be comical. We'll see. I've never tried gold leaf, so I don't know. Maybe I should video that so that some of you can see the struggle of someone like me trying it for the first time, and then you can see what not to do when you do yours. All right. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.